Hi. In the last audio, we talked about thoughts being a force. And this reflection will be a summary of how Swamiji has put forward his point. The thoughts are a final force. He says that a thought is not just a passing cloud in the sky of your mind, it's a force, a final force. It's subtle, invisible, and tremendously powerful. Every action that takes place in the world, seen or unseen, has its root in a thought. The Chandogya Upanishad beautifully illustrates it through a dialogue between Uddalaka and his son Svetaketu. Uddalaka teaches that as is the food, so is the mind. If food is pure, the thoughts become pure as well. And when the thought is pure, speech becomes powerful. It penetrates deep into the hearts of others, of everyone who is listening to it. And the one who thinks purely speaks with such clarity and depth that even their silence can transform. I think the example of langar or community kitchen would be very pertinent to explain what Swamiji is trying to say. So, have you ever noticed food that is being served in langar or in Gurudwara Sahib, temple, at a mosque, or anywhere? The food that we get there, though simple and perhaps without spices, it tastes extremely satisfying, extremely tasty. It's because it's prepared with the name of Lord on the lips of those who cook it, of everyone who is around them while that is being cooked. And basically, that manas around that space is a hotspot, so to speak, of the name of the Lord. So, when the food is cooked with devotion, love, surrender, those vibrations enter the food. It becomes a medicine. It heals not just the body, but the subtle layers of being. This is why Jal Prasad Langar, as I said, Jal Prasad means the consecrated water that we get from holy places. Or food, it can bring about deep healing, sometimes even from physical illnesses. Why? Because the thought has entered it. Thoughts, when pure and intense, become like a razor's edge, he says. They cut through darkness, delusion, disease, even. A sage can sit in the Himalayas and his thought can still reach you, wherever you are. A sage can not be in the body. Even the people who have passed over, you can think of them, and somehow you'll get a sign that they are around. They are looking after you, over you. Because the thoughts travel and they never die, as I said in the previous one. So it's very dynamic. It moves, it has weight, it has vibration, and it even has form. Because these movements of thought are powered by what we called psychic prana, subtle vital energies that animate our mental substance. Just as physical prana powers our body, psychic prana moves our mind. This force behaves like the physical forces that you learn about in science, like gravitation, attraction, repulsion, cohesion, and alike. Similarly, thought waves attract and repel. In the yogic science, we study these thought waves. We recognize that this very world around us is the materialization of the thought forms of the cosmic mind. Call it God or Hiranyagarbha, the first thinker. You must have heard of the word telepathy. What is it? If not the thought transference? Great yogis, even in ancient times, communicated silently across great distances. Long before there were phones and wires, they were already transmitting and receiving thoughts. It was the first wireless communication system, so to speak. So don't take your thoughts lightly, he says. Everyone is unconsciously experiencing the power of thoughts, some more and some less. It completely depends on how in tune we are. When a whole population is gripped by fear, say during war or pandemic, can you not feel how it weighs on the collective? Anxiety spreads, illness spreads, despair spreads, but likewise, healing can spread too. Being near nature, it soothes us because nature is full of pure, silent, sattvic vibration. It's not disturbed by the noise of our minds. It has no hidden agenda. So when you walk through a forest or, say, sit by a stream, you begin to resonate with the purity. Healing happens naturally. Just as you exercise your body, Swamiji says you must also cultivate mental health. And that comes from radiating right waves, right thought waves, through sattvic food, cheerful mood, spiritual recreation, silence, prayer, and noble company. Just entertaining pure and noble thoughts can change your mental climate. Because remember, every thought you send out continues to vibrate in the subtle universe. It does not perish, but finds minds that are in sympathy with it. That means those minds which are tuned to a similar wavelength of vibration. A single thought of truth can set in motion a chain of events far beyond your comprehension. This is why we suffer misunderstanding and conflict. Every person lives in their own mental world. Just as faces and voices differ, so do our inner interpretation and the ways of thinking. Misunderstanding happens not because the truth is hidden, but because our own thought, or let's say thought filters, distort it. Lustful thoughts, or maybe jealous thoughts, or thoughts of lower vibration, they cloud the intellect, twist perception, and break memory, he says. Confusion and suffering follow, inevitably, obviously. So think of it like this. In physics, there's something called power of orientation. You can have a wire full of energy, but unless it's connected to the right pole, current doesn't flow. In the same way, your mental energy, if it's scattered, distracted, and unfocused, it won't serve you. But if you orient your thought toward the divine, if you gather your mental rays and direct them into higher channels, the same mind becomes a gateway to grace. So don't fill up your brain with useless clutter. Learn to unmind the mind, unlearn what has not served you. This is how you gain real mental strength, not by force, but by purity, not by information, but by inner transformation. So, thought, Swamiji says, is a final force. Handle it with reverence.